I'm Tally.
And I'm Shay.
And we are
Lit Libations.
Just kidding. I'm not Tally.
Yeah, and I'm not Shay. We are reading Uglies, Part 1 by Scott Westerfeld, up through the chapter called Work. What is it, like 25?
It's 25, yeah.
25, called Work. So.
Initially, I thought it was 32. I read too far. That's fine.
Well, now you know more.
Now I'm a little ahead. That's all right.
Yeah.
I am so glad to be moving on. Not because I didn't love Bridgerton, but it's just like a change of pace.
Yeah, and it's so fun. I don't know how you fantasy people do it, or like only dark fantasy or dark romances, or like only, one genre people.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I agree. It's like a completely different thing. And I'm really excited for it.
Yeah.
It's a very cool premise. I think it's very relevant
It's still relevant, yeah. I'm just excited to finally have a physical copy of the book for the episode. I did look every single time at the library for Bridgerton books, and they were all taken. Well, it was popular.
I think the reality is that, not everyone, a lot of people have switched to, maybe not everyone, but, to audiobooks or to books on a Kindle or whatever.
For sure. That's what I do.
Same.
I just happen to have this beautiful series copy of it from way back when.
Yeah, it'll be good. This will be good. Like I said, very, very prevalent, very relevant to today's society.
Yeah, for sure.
The themes throughout it, even though technically we're Rusties.
Yeah, we're the Rusties, so they talk shit on the Rusties the entire time.
We're stupid, ugly idiots.
Get used to it.
Just so you know, everyone out there right in this time frame is a stupid, ugly idiot.
Yeah, it's us.
World ending, world killing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ooh, yeah. It's not good. We're not good.
Yeah.
Not good people in this book.
No. What are we drinking?
Yeah, let's talk about what we're drinking. Oh, so it's called a White Orchid. I just Googled White Orchid drink inspirations or something, and this was the first one. So that's what we went with.
You'll see why.
Yeah. It's prevalent in this first half, the White Orchid. It's a ginger liqueur. It was like Intense. I don't even know what it was called. I think it's just called Intense.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's a ginger liqueur, and it has lime juice and white cranberry juice.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find any white cranberry, so we're drinking white cranberry strawberry, which I don't really get any strawberry.
I'm not getting the strawberry.
It's really good.
And vodka.
Yeah, and vodka.
Would we use New Amsterdam?
Yeah, New Amsterdam.
That does seem to be like our regular vodka of choice.
I like it. It's like mid range, like price wise. Yeah, but it's still really good. I like it.
I agree.
Yeah, so it's really good. Do you like it?
It's delicious. I did put a little bit of oh my god, what is that called? Sparkling water.
Yeah, seltzer water.
Some seltzer water, because I don't know. For some reason, like as I'm getting older, I need more of a. I can't just be like blasted in the mouth with flavor. When it comes to drink, okay.
What else would it?
When I eat, I have to be blasted. I have to be blasted in the mouth with flavor. Oh my god,
I like it. I think my first taste of this was good, and you were like, oh no.
It was a little overwhelming. So I think I just need it, like for whatever reason, for my drinks, my alcoholic beverages, I need it to be a little bit more subdued.
Yeah.
Whereas with my food,
I
need extra seasoning and spices
and
flavorings. Yeah, all the things.
Same.
It's very weird, but
no, it's not that weird.
It's who I am.
Don't judge us.
Don't judge us.
Maisie update. She's been doing really well. Every time Kylie's here, she'll get up off the couch and walk around the house and sniff. Today she sniffed around the yard for a lot, which she doesn't do. So she's improving every day, and it's wonderful.
I don't know if she thinks that we're a lesbian couple and I'm just off to work, 6 days a week.
My other mom's back finally
for
a couple hours on a Friday or a Sunday. Yay. But she's doing really well.
That's so funny.
Showing more interest in cats, Brutus. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's a Maisie update. She'll probably get too wiggly here in a little bit. So enjoy her while you have her.
She's cute as can be.
YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you can chew on it. I don't care. Go join the Facebook group. It's Lit Libations Lounge. Go join the Patreon, patreon.com/litlibationnation. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, go rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts.
5 stars.
If you love us, and we've gotten a lot of listeners, so I hope you stuck with us through Uglies. And if you're here because of Uglies only, go listen to our other episodes. We did
Bridgerton, Verity, Cersei, and Akatar.
Yeah, and I'm wearing an Akatar shirt.
Valaris. The place I would die to be for the rest of my life.
But you'd have to die to get there. Oh.
That's fine. I'd die to get there. If that was my heaven, I'd be chilling.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Valaris?
Yeah.
Just specifically Valaris.
Yeah. The rest of the world. I don't know.
Give me Azriel and Valaris in my heaven.
It's done.
It's a done deal for me. It's a done deal. It's a wrap. Okay.
Oh, let's play a drinking game. Drink when we say Rusties.
Okay, yep.
And Spag Bowl or Spog Bowl.
Or New Pretty Town. I think I say that a lot. Yeah. I don't really say Rusties or
I say it a
Spag Bowl
lot.
Okay.
I think I've just inserted in there as often as I could.
Okay. Specifically for this game.
Just like the words that are like new to this book.
So New Pretty Town, Spag Bowl, and what was the other one?
Rusties.
Okay. I'm in.
All right, let's get into it.
Chapter 1, New Pretty Town.
Drink.
Let's drink
responsibly.
Drink responsibly. Okay. Hallie Youngblood is a 15-year-old girl living in Uglyville. Gross. Her friend Paris has just had cosmetic surgery to become a, quote, pretty. A person with physically enhanced features. The surgery is required for every 16-year-old in town or like across the world.
Yeah.
Well,
they really just focus on their city. They do mention other cities. We don't really know what's going on in the other cities.
They mention other cities. They mention how there's rumors that other cities like don't have like their people don't do the procedure until they turn 18.
Oh yeah.
Or they do it even younger at like 15 or they're working on doing it at 15 or something like that. I don't know. There's just like a lot going on.
We just don't know at this point.
No, but right now 16, this town, pretties, uglies. And that's what's happening. And that's
chapter 2. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Now it's your turn. Take it away. Once a person becomes pretty, they move to a town called New Pretty Town. Uglies, or people who have not had surgery, are not allowed in New Pretty Town at all. Tally misses Paris. They were best friends.
Yeah.
And she decides that she has to sneak into New Pretty Town to talk to him.
Yeah, because he also hasn't reached out, and it's been like 3 months.
He hasn't reached out at all. It's been literally 3 months. Tally still has 3 months left for her to turn 16 and for her to turn pretty and join Paris in New Pretty Town. Her and Paris used to sneak into New Pretty Town all the time to watch the New Pretties. Oh my God, how many times have I said New Pretty Town? That's like at least 500
Okay, drink
times.
responsibly.
Oh my God.
Lump it up.
Don't take shots, for the love of God. A river divides the two towns and an old bridge crosses over it. I'll explain that in a second. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, so uglies, as we established, aren't allowed in New Pretty Town. And if they were to be discovered there, they would get in trouble. And whenever they do these little things, like
going, like sneaking around, breaking the rules, basically.
They call it tricks.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that gets me, but it gets me. Like, it's like just like maybe a slang term, but it's like doing something you're not supposed to do. Breaking the rules is called like a trick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like jailbreaking your Amazon Fire Stick.
That's a trick. You're tricking
it.
the trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're tricking it.
You're tricking it. She started off and thought she had gotten caught when a huge burst of what sounded like an alarm went off. It was just a bunch of people dancing in the streets. It was like a parade with people of masks.
They're just partying over there.
And it was like kind of like mean masks.
Was it?
I think so.
Like wolves? What were they wearing?
Like it was like clowns and it was like pigs.
Scary.
And it was like, for me, it felt like they were mocking uglies. I could be wrong. But it was supposed to be like,
maybe.
I don't know. That's how I got the idea. But that is when she got an idea. Chapter 2, Best Friends Forever. Paris lives in Garbo Mansion, where all the new pretties lived. There is a white tie event going on right now. A giant bash, okay? As she was walking, she saw people jumping off the building, the Garbo mansion, and screaming all the way down until they were caught by like a jacket. Like bungee jumping.
Bungee jackets, they call it.
Bungee jackets, exactly. Okay, by the way, it's important to know, I don't know why I didn't write it down, but she is currently wearing a pig mask.
Oh, yeah.
She put a pig mask on.
Yeah, that huge alarm was like a machine that was going down the street just pumping out masks. Just dropping onto the ground. Yeah. And people would pick them up. And she just picked one up.
Yep, and she's wearing a literal fucking pig mask.
And she's like, well, it's not much uglier than me, so.
She's like, yeah. Yeah. Oh, girl. While Tally is searching each floor for Paris, people notice that Tally is dressed too casually and begin pursuing her. But Tally escapes into the elevator where she finds Paris. Paris is like, who are you guys following? And they're like, oh, Tally.
Tally? The hell?
Avert your eyes. Avert your eyes. It's
you
ugly.
Look crazy.
Yeah. Paris is angry at Tally for putting herself at risk and making her promise not to come back before her operation. Tally notices Paris no longer has the scar that they made together on their hands and that he isn't excited to see her.
The operation wiped it away.
Yeah. Because they like give you new skin.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We'll break that down.
They go into detail later.
Paris tells her the only way to escape is to bungee jump from the top of the tower, from the ceiling. Not the ceiling, the roof.
It'd be hard.
The ceiling. Yeah. She goes up there and she's like looking for the bungee jackets, and people are like, oh, who is that? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so she pulls the fire alarm and they catch a glimpse of her and they're like, oh my God, she's ugly.
Well, she couldn't get a jacket too, right? Because it was like stuck. And so she pulled the fire alarm. So
I thought she was having trouble putting it on her.
Oh, I knew she just couldn't get it all like off the rack. She probably could have, but then she panicked and pulled the fire alarm. And people were like, catching her. They're like, who is that girl?
Yeah. I totally thought she was having trouble opening it to get it on her.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Well, whatever.
No, I don't know. Either way, the fire alarm
she was
popped
struggling with the bungee jacket, and so she pulled the fire alarm. And they already saw that she was ugly, so they were stressed out because she's ugly.
Yeah.
And so she pulled the fire alarm to distract her pursuers, but it was only drawing more attention. Okay. And as she's about to jump, authorities like are coming.
Oh my God.
They're coming. Chapter 3, Shay. She jumped and fell down and she was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. But she didn't die because
the jacket
catches her. And when I read this, I was like, how? This whole world confused the ever-loving shit out of me for the longest of times.
Do you feel like it all gets answered adequately? Okay.
I don't understand science. Oh. So like I don't fully understand this world. So I wouldn't be of a high profession here. Like I just wouldn't.
You don't have to be. You're pretty. Maybe.
I would be. Pretty and ignorant.
Yeah.
That's my motto. Okay. She unhooked herself and ran into the garden. She ducked into some shrubs and hid while a police officer scanned faces to see if there was a pretty or not, to see like where's the ugly.
Yeah. Oh, you're pretty. Oh, you're pretty.
Oh, you're good. I can tell. She hears a safety warden coming to patrol the grounds. The safety warden is a middle pretty, a middle-aged person who has had a secondary operation to look safe and trustworthy.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I wonder what age that starts at.
I have no.
I wonder if I would be a middle pretty.
I'm gonna probably.
Right? I don't know.
Well,
when does it start?
Well, that's a great question. How long? Yeah, how long do they stay new pretty? My guess is they stay new pretty through their 20s. My guess is that they get the middle pretty operation in their 30s, because I feel like that's when the secondary aging starts to happen.
Yeah. And
then there's also late pretties,
and then crumblies.
Oh God.
So that's 4.
That's a lot going on.
Yeah. So, interesting.
That's a lot of operations. Tally, programmed to trust middle pretties, answers, I'm sorry, but another girl answers. And that's the one who was hiding or was standing there.
It was just like another ugly.
Yeah. And yeah, it's another ugly. And her name is Shay.
Yeah.
She's like, hi, I'm Shay. I'm so sorry. Like,
she's like, oh, no, I'm sorry.
She basically is like, oh my God. I am so sorry. I basically like snuck over here because I was trying to see my friends who all turned pretty way before me. Yeah. So like, that's my fault. I was on a secret expedition. Like, My bad.
And they're also like in the bushes, like frozen, waiting for the other to move for a long time.
Like a long time.
Then
like
Tally broke.
one is just standing, like stick straight standing, and like Tally is like on the
her
ground.
hands and knees.
Yeah.
It was funny.
But they were both trapped at this point.
Oh, in New Pretty Town?
In New Pretty Town.
Yeah.
Because there were authorities everywhere, all over New Pretty Town. Like, this was basically like a jailbreak.
Yeah, it's like a huge deal to be ugly in New Pretty Town. You can't get caught.
No, it's death. No. I'm just joking. It's not death. So Shay had pulled a hoverboard out of the bushes because that's how she got to New Pretty Town.
Yeah.
And they started to go back to Uglyville. They were going to go to a bridge, but Shay was scared because she was worried that the bridge was going to tattle.
Yeah, the minders.
Because these new bridges that they build from town to town are like a AI bridge where basically they know everything and they can report information and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool.
But the bridge that Tally used to get there was an old bridge, a Rusties bridge.
What do they call it? A dumb bridge? Yeah, because the other one's a smart bridge.
Yeah.
It's a dumb one.
A dumb bridge, a dumb, ugly bridge. And obviously it doesn't have the capabilities to quote tattle because it doesn't have minders.
Yeah.
Chapter 4, Wipeout.
Oh.
Shay is teaching Tally how to hoverboard at the park, but Tally keeps falling off. Okay, so this is really cool. I kind of have to explain the metrics.
I love the hoverboarding.
Okay, so Tally is complaining about crashing because her crash bracelet is hurting her wrist. So basically how this happens, right, is you have these cool ass hoverboards. They remind me of skateboards, but they literally like hover off the ground.
I picture like a boogie board.
Oh, okay. I get that.
Yeah, like
okay,
bigger.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these hoverboards are able to learn the way that you move, the way like the muscles you use based off of this like
Belly sensor
that you have going on. If you crash, you have a crash bracelet on, which like if you fall, it like keeps you up by the magnetic force. So you're not like crashing and dying trying to learn how to use a hoverboard.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And it keeps you safe, but it does hurt your wrist and it could hurt your shoulder depending on how fast
she really gets
you're
messed
going.
up a lot
A
with
lot.
those crash bracelets.
Yeah. So that was a very in-depth situation.
It's so cool.
And Shay is basically trying to teach her how to hoverboard by teaching her where her feet need to be, making sure she has her arms extended. Think surfing combined with skateboarding.
Yeah. In the air.
Basically. Yeah. Then Tally starts to speed towards some flagpoles. Tally made it through the flagpoles, basically weaving in and out of them without hitting them, and was very excited. But then she spun around on her board to
be like, "Did you see that?"
Get excited, she's like Shay, and then the board dumped her off.
Yeah,
completely dumped her off. She crashed, arm up in the air, flailing, but she's fine because obviously crash bracelet. The girls began to enjoy each other's company and bond over losing friends to New Pretty Town. Friends never seem to return or be interested in maintaining ties with the Uglies once they cross over.
Yeah. And they're both like the youngest in their friend group. So they're alone until they found each other.
Yeah. The two decide that they will never abandon each other after their operations.
Aww.
They also discover that they have the same birthday.
Aww.
Which means that their operations will be performed on the same day, which means they'll never, ever have to part.
They'll never be alone. Yeah.
Exactly.
They'll never be ugly alone again.
Shay doesn't seem as excited as Tally about getting the surgery. The girls talk about why the new pretties never come back. And they're like, probably because their life is so interesting and fun and whatever.
They don't want to.
And Tally says it's because no one wants to be around an ugly person.
Yeah, because it's really hard to look at, the ugly.
She's extremely self-deprecating.
Yeah, she really is. And I feel like they were taught to be like that.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's hard because I can't get a sense of how other like uglies talk. Like we only ever get the perspective from the people,
from Tally
and then from Shay, who obviously, we see why she is more self-confident. But even the way Tally talks about Paris was also like somewhat okay with how he looked. I don't feel like the way that she talked about Paris, like he didn't want the operation either.
Oh, really?
That's how she said. She's like, oh, like Shay reminds me of Paris before the operation. Like he used to say stuff about not wanting to get the operation too, which is why she didn't feel like it was all that weird.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
I just think it's just kind of strange.
Yeah.
Chapter 5, Facing the Future. Tally wants to play with a Morphos game. Is that how you say it? Morphos?
Morphos, yeah.
Morphos.
Is it a game? Do they describe it as a game?
Yeah, kind of.
Cool.
Tally wants to play with a Morphos game that allows users to experiment with their features to see what they'd look like after their operation.
Oh, yeah. I'd be spending hours on that.
I would too.
Because you can...
Like, no shame.
They have... They describe it as they have, like, the government or whatever, have a mold.
Template?
Yeah, like a template. And you can mess with it a little bit, but they have to approve it.
Yeah, that's... that
so you can
is
choose your
crazy.
nose. You can choose your eyes. You can choose your ears.
But, like, kind of you can't.
Yeah, but also they have to approve it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, it's got to still fit within these specifications.
Very, 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 specific. Yeah. Oh, it's kind of sucks. Like, I would want to pick my own stuff, but I don't know if I'd want to use the same template as everybody else.
Right. And this is what it is. They all look alike. They all very alike.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pretties.
Shay is not interested. She says society teaches people that they're ugly. After some persuasion, Shay agrees to create a Morphos. Tally's like, please, just let me do it, okay?
Come on, you're so ugly. I just want to see you pretty, please.
Seriously, you're literally so ugly. Just please let me make you pretty for 1 second, please. Oh my God. The game takes a person's face and duplicates one side and creates a mirror image of it to create a symmetrical face. Because that's like the main thing, or one of the main things is symmetry.
Like no one's face is symmetrical.
Right.
So they start there.
Yeah, and that's what makes people like to the eye more attractive to other people.
Aesthetically pleasing. Yeah.
Is symmetry. And I isn't that like a real thing? Like I thought that was actually like a scientific thing. That
I think
symmetry
so.
does.
Yeah. Have you ever done that? Like my like looked at yourself in the mirror, like on like this and looked at both halves.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I look like a different person each time.
Oh yeah. No,
it's crazy.
Like, I'm so not symmetrical in my
appearance
at all. But
I think you are more than me.
My eyes are like, it's my eyes. I think I'm
too.
fine the rest of it.
One of my eyes is like super squinty and one of them's like super open.
That's same.
Yeah.
Same. I have like more fat over one eye than the other.
Oh.
I don't care, but like, yeah, I have to do my makeup differently to make my eyes look like more
I was like, I've never noticed. Because you
it's the makeup. It's the industry. It's the makeup industry. No. Tally asks Shay which side of her face she thinks is better, explaining that she prefers Shay's left side because for herself as well, she prefers her left side.
Yeah.
Tally's left side.
Tally prefers her own left side.
I hate my right side. Yeah. Shay gets irritated when Tally starts to alter her features using the game, saying she wishes Tally would just accept her as she is.
Yeah.
Shay says her face is fine as it is and that she would rather go hoverboarding. After a while, Tally finally gives in and they go hoverboarding.
Nice.
Because she's like, all right, fine.
Jesus, all right, let's go hoverboarding.
She's been saying it though. She was saying it the whole time. She was like, can we go hoverboarding? Okay, yeah. That's
She's like, no,
left
what about
side
this
is
nose?
fine.
What about
Can we go hoverboarding?
Look at this is a skinnier nose. How do you think about that?
That's great. Can we go hoverboarding? Chapter 6, Pretty Bored. Shay wants to take Tally for a night ride on the hoverboard. She thinks Shay means a night ride to New Pretty Town, but Shay wants to take her to the Rusty ruins. The remains of an old city from 300 years ago, far outside of town. Uglies are usually taken to the Rusty ruins on field trips, school field trips, but Tally has never been there at night.
Oh, that's right.
It's very scary. There's a lot of things out there.
Yeah, you're not supposed to go out there.
No. Shay says she's been there at night and has been wanting to invite Tally ever since she found out that Tally broke into New Pretty Town and bungee jumped off of a fucking building.
Yeah, like she pulls really cool tricks.
Yeah.
This girl's tricky.
Dude, her tricks are insane.
Yeah.
Shay says she's inspired by Tally's rebelliousness and finds her a kindred soul. She also says that this is their last few months to do something fun before becoming boring pretties.
Yeah, the pretties sucked. All they do is party.
All they do is party.
In Garbo Mansion.
Yeah, and bang in the fucking
pleasure gardens.
In the pleasure gardens.
I googled pleasure garden because they talk about that on Bridgerton, and it's just like a regular garden.
Oh, they're not doing anything specific. No,
they might. They probably are in this in Uglies, but
probably
it's. But it's not in the definition.
No, that's fair. Tally is hesitant But then she finally agrees to go.
All right, we're going to the Rusty Ruins. All right, chapter 7, Rapids. Tally tells her room good night, and it responds, and she leaves through the window. The pretties across the river are partying hard, and she thinks about seeing Paris soon. She meets Shay at the dam. Shay had tricked their hoverboards so they could fly at night and cross boundaries to outside of town without a telling on them, which Tally was really worried about. So she tricked the hoverboard. She tricked it.
Yeah.
I feel like it has a double meaning. It's not important.
What do you mean?
So you trick the hoverboard as in you're fooling the hoverboard.
Yeah.
But you trick the hoverboard as in you're like making it cooler or something. You're tricking it up.
So yeah. Yeah. Because you're tricking it and you're fooling it.
Yeah.
Because you're making it cooler and you're fooling it.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's a cool fool.
Tricking it. Double meaning.
Yeah.
Love it.
Love that.
Tally is worried because she promised Paris she wouldn't take any big risks, but Shay reassures her that even if they're caught or whatever, she'll still be turned pretty, which is all that Tally wants. And she's also like, maybe Paris told you to take it easy so you wouldn't bother him anymore, because pretties don't fuck with uglies. Haven't you noticed? Like, they don't come back for us.
Yeah. Do you see the manipulation of Shay right here?
Yeah.
And Tally also.
She's like planting seeds.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to say this before I give criticisms, because I'm going to give my criticisms as if I was reading this book in real time. So it's easy to look back on it after reading it more and saying like, oh, hindsight's 2020, whatever. I'm going to give my criticism as if it's real time.
Oh, okay.
And as of right now,
got it.
We know for a fact for most of this beginning at part 1 and part 2 that Tally wants to be pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Point blank, period, end of story. She never had any doubts. She never had any reservations.
Like, she's so excited. It's very obvious.
Pretty was her end game, her end goal. Like, that was it. So with that in mind,
we're moving on. All right. They start boarding down the river and hit the Whitewater Rapids 10 minutes later. Quote, the churning water really was white. It crashed over rocks and through narrow channels, catapulted up into moonlit sprays, split apart, rejoined, and dropped down into boiling cauldrons at the bottom of steep falls. I love the imagery in this book.
Oh, it's so good.
I feel like he does a really good job.
Really
because
good.
It's like, I don't know, it's such a lighthearted, like dystopian fantasy, futuristic, and then they have this like beautiful imagery in it.
I agree.
The first few minutes were very scary. Tally wasn't sure if her board was going to dump her, but she relaxed and got used to it. Shay is banking just above the spraying water so hard it puts up a wake in the water, which I can just picture these so well.
Yeah.
Eventually, Shay gets off the river, and they look at New Pretty Town for a moment in the distance, which is a blip in a sea of darkness. But Shay says they have to walk from here because there's no metal in the ground that will keep the hoverboards up. In the city, there's a grid built into the ground, but they have to be careful out here. And Shay says, quote, out here, you find out that the city fools you about how things really work. And Tally says, quote, I kind of like being fooled about some things. And
please, for the love of God.
I kind of agree with her sometimes.
I do too.
Yeah. I don't want to live in this world. I want to be happy and dumb.
Yeah. Every world has scaries. Every single world.
Yeah.
Every single like thing that we do. And it's like, yeah, I guess being informed is nice at times.
Yeah.
Or important at times. Yeah. But it's like when it's something so far out of your control, it's like, all right, keep me ignorant.
Yeah, like a horror story like that you hear that happens states away that it's just so tragic. Like,
keep me ignorant.
Yeah, I don't want to know. I don't
for the love of God.
As they're walking, Shay leads Tally toward an area with a natural vein of iron in the ground, and their boards start to lighten because they were getting really heavy. And Tally's like, what the fuck? I don't want to carry this around. Shay explains that the boards work on the river because of trace metals that are deposited from springs inside mountains into the streams and rivers. So there's always metal in the rivers. That was kind of hard for me to understand, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Shay says that boards prefer iron, and all that glitters is not hovery. And Tally thought that was a strange thing to say. And sometimes it sounded like she quoted lyrics from a band no one else listened to.
I love that.
It's so funny.
I love it. She's like, you sound so strange. Yeah.
That's so
funny.
Now
you're an all-star.
Yeah.
What if I just started like randomly quoting like random songs? Hey now, you're an all-star.
Do it.
Hey now.
And then I'll have to find them.
Hey now. This is what dreams are made of. You know what I mean?
No. Oh, shoot. It's not happening. Finally, the clouds break and they get their first look at the Rusty Ruins. Chapter 8, the Rusty Ruins. The ruins are just as you'd imagine a ruined city to be like from any apocalypse movie. Hulking metal frames of buildings, crumbling stone, and invading vegetation. I just picture The Last of Us TV show.
Yeah, it's weird though because she said that cars were piled up as if they were trying to escape something.
Yeah, the streets are full of burned out cars. So it seemed like the city was burning and then people are trying to escape it.
Dude, I was desperate to know what the fuck happened.
Did you find it out?
No, I'm still desperate.
Okay. It's in part two. It's in the book. It's in this book.
I haven't given myself any spoilers. So I'm like reading this and all in real time.
That's so fun.
It's a really hard thing for me to do.
They go deeper than they've ever been or even known the city to be. Plenty of metal to keep them flying, which they are, and they're flying really high above the street level, which is like so interesting to picture. Because I imagine they're like 3 feet above the cars, but they're probably like 30 or 40 feet above the cars.
Yeah.
Shay leads Tally into a roller coaster, but Tally doesn't know what that is, and Shay says it's for having fun. And Tally never imagined the Rusties ever did anything for fun. She thought they worked in factories that destroyed nature until they died.
Like in giant beehive factories.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Shay tells her to follow her on the tracks, and then she looks back and she's like, you have to go fast for this part, otherwise it's really dangerous. And so Tally does. She like guns it, and there's a huge gap in the coaster, and Tally free falls for like 5 seconds before her board and her bracelets steady her again. And she is pissed that Shay didn't warn her. But Shay's friends didn't warn her the first time that she did it, and it was awesome. And she wanted her friend to experience the same thrill.
I can't stand, dude. In these moments, I literally could not stand Shay.
Yeah, but the roller coaster ends up being really fun.
Sure.
It's like one of those things that was just like maybe a bad choice, but it ended up being like in hindsight.
She's
fine.
She's lucky though, because if that was me, I would have fucking beat the shit out of Shay. I
Oh my god, yeah.
So pissed.
Oh, it's so scary. I can't even imagine.
Like,
5 seconds is like, that's a huge gap.
Well, and I think here's the big theme for Shay, and so far since I've read the books, is immaturity. She's just so young and so young-minded, and she's like, even this right here, like not realizing that maybe the way that she feels would be different than the way that someone else feels.
Yeah.
Like she just is not aware of really anyone outside of herself. Like, and I struggle with her so much because she's just so immature.
Yeah,
in
she's
moments
young
like
and dumb,
this.
and she has all these like thoughts and feelings, and she has an idea of what's right and wrong, but it's also very.
I have to constantly remind myself that she's 16
16
years old.
She's 16.
Because
15.
I'm like, I would have beat the shit out of this girl if I was in the same world as her.
So I mean, I feel like she's portrayed accurately.
I actually don't disagree. I think Tally is almost like too mature for her age.
Yeah, maybe.
I really don't disagree.
Yeah. So Shay was like, well, my friends showed me this and it was really awesome. And she's like, speaking of which, who did show you all this stuff?
Yeah.
And Shay asks Tally to make her a promise, a real and important promise. She's like, I'm not kidding. Like, you can't tell anybody. And she agrees. Then Shay says, I want you to meet someone who doesn't live in town, someone from out here. What?
Cryptic.
Chapter 9, Waiting for David. Shay leads Tally into a crumbling building, and they're able to hoverboard all the way up through the middle of it and through the missing ceiling, which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's scary. Quote, the clouds had all disappeared and moonlight brought the ruins into sharp relief, the buildings like rows of broken teeth. Oh, I quoted that because it reminded me of a song. Death Cab for Cutie.
I have no idea. Fuck. I'd have to listen to it. I'm not good with names of songs.
If you know, you know.
I'm not good with, okay.
No, Death Cab for Cutie is the band. Let me look it up real quick.
Oh, I'm not good with names of songs or bands, really. I just have to listen. While you're looking up, I want to say really quick that they mention how, I think this is important because we just watched the trailer for the Uglies, and I noticed something that I thought was interesting in the trailer compared to the books. In the books, they say that like in New Pretty Town and in Uglyville and all of the cities that are made now, one, obviously they're not made out of metal. Like none of the buildings are made out of metal, I guess. Because she talks about how
I think they
use some sort of like other material. Because she's like, oh yeah, Rusties like to use metal so much, like too much. Like, so like absolutely absurd.
That is interesting because my understanding is they do use metal because they talk about hover struts a lot. And the grid for
In
like
the
everything's
grid.
hovering, so it has to be metal, right?
No, for sure, but maybe not in the
Maybe
buildings.
it's like a hybrid or something they created.
Yeah,
that's sustainable and like recyclable. I don't know.
I was beyond confused at what materials
Yeah.
they were actually using for the buildings.
Because Tally's like shocked at everything.
Because the way that she talked about metal, the way that Rusties used metal, like she's
Yeah.
like, why would they use it? There's like skeletons coming out of it. This is so weird.
They're so
Like,
stupid. I can't believe this.
Stupid Rusties using stupid metal. I was like, what? Like, I'm so confused. That's one. Two, she also was gawking at how tall like the Rusty structures were. Like,
oh
how
yeah,
unbelievably
the skyscraper.
tall.
So, what city do you think that the Rusty Ruins is?
I'm thinking they're close to the sea.
Yeah,
ish. So I'm thinking like potentially like New York.
I thought it was New York at first, but when I was reading it this time around, something made me think Los Angeles.
Oh, I could see Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see Los Angeles.
Yeah, I think it might be on the West.
100%. No, I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
That actually would make more sense.
Yeah, but
I think.
Yeah, I always thought New York, but I think maybe it might be LA.
Yeah, I
which
like
is
that.
so interesting to think about it like that.
But in the new Pretty Town, she said that like their buildings never exceeded 3 floors.
In New Pretty Town or in Uglyville?
Or in all of the towns.
Well, okay, so
She
New
said
Pretty
their
Town has
structure-
party spires, which I imagine.
Are tall.
Yeah, I mean maybe like 25 stories, like not.
Okay. So maybe
like
maybe she did
crazy.
say just Uglyville had like they never exceeded
Yeah.
3 stories. My point is when we watched the
trailer.
trailer, their buildings in the beginning of I don't know what they were showing specifically,
yeah.
but seemed huge.
It had to have been Uglyville because the buildings were ugly, and
It's true. So I was like, wait, this isn't.
it reminded me of like the buildings in the Hunger Games, like in the Capitol.
I agree.
So we'll see.
And I get that they're supposed to be technologically advanced, but they were also supposed to be like stout,
right,
short, stout.
right, yeah, like
Period.
conformative. No,
But-
that's not the right word.
But even with how tall the buildings are, she was so gawking at the Rusties buildings that they couldn't have been tall. Like the buildings in New Pretty Town couldn't have been as tall. There's
right.
no way.
Yeah. No, not as tall as like any skyscraper in LA.
No.
Or New York.
Oh my God, I love that you just said that you think it's LA because I think that's genius.
No. Let us know where you think the Rusty Ruins are. Anyways, the Death Cab for Cutie song that I was thinking of was I'll Follow You Into the Dark.
Maybe the Rusty Ruins are.
Acknowledge me. I said something.
What was it?
Nothing. It's
What was
not
it?
important.
What was the song again?
I'll follow you into the dark.
I would have to hear it.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Okay, we
Write
can listen to it
down.
after. Maybe the Rusty Ruins are the coaster is old Disneyland.
Oh, where's Disneyland?
I don't know.
I was also thinking it could be Coney Island in New York,
Well,
but that's
no.
not right on the shore. They were
Yeah.
like in the woods. Well, I maybe we should Google it, but anyways.
Okay, I'm okay.
We're getting really distracted.
Okay, really, I'm really stressed out because I really need to know. Maybe they're not even in our country.
I
No,
think it
they're
is.
in our country.
I think it is.
Yeah, they're in our country.
I think it is.
Come on, we're in the USA.
Okay, all right.
Okay. I'm sorry.
The
God,
song
I'm
that I was
sorry.
thinking of was Death Cab for Cutie. I'll Follow You Into the Dark, and let us know where you think the Rusty Ruins is in the United States, because I'm pretty sure it's in the United States.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Go ahead.
Okay. Tally is growing impatient with Shay's shenanigans. She wants to go home and sleep. It's been a long night. Shay lights a flare and explains that it's a signal for a friend named David. And Tally hopes that there's not an answering flare because she doesn't want to deal with all that. And then she's like, David. Also, David is a weird name. And then she tells Tally that David comes here sometimes and he lives really far away. They wait and wait, but there's nothing indicating that David is coming. And Tally convinces Shay to give it up and go home. And Tally thanks her for showing her all this because she really is like really excited to have seen all this.
Yeah.
Shay asks her again not to tell anyone about David, who Tally isn't even 100% sure exists at this point. She's like, Tally, you know, she talks a little crazy. I don't really know what's going on up
I
there.
thought David was a 30 to 40-year-old man.
That would have been scary.
That would have been terrifying.
That
but
would've
I
been scary.
truly thought he was a 30 to
Oh my
40-year-old man.
gosh.
Totally.
On the way back, Tally thinks about how being in the city did make everything seem fake, and she feels grateful for having seen the ruins. When they get to the river, Tally looks back at the ruins one last time and thinks maybe she sees a tiny blip of a light from a flare. But then she blinks and it's gone. And she wasn't going to tell Shay anyways because she didn't want to go back to the ruin. She didn't want to make that journey again. And then they race each other home. What? Did you look it up?
I looked it up.
All right. Wait, should we talk about it now? Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, the Rusty Ruins are west of Tally City and are remainders of Seattle, Washington.
Oh, I was close. I could see that. Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I had to look.
I love
That's
that.
crazy.
Seattle. Oh, it just gives me like chills.
Seattle does have big buildings. I would have never guessed. But
I've never
that's
been,
perfect.
but
That's
yeah.
perfect because there is a mountain range over there.
Love it.
Oh my gosh.
The Rusty Ruins is Seattle.
The Rusty Ruins is in Seattle.
Is Seattle.
Is Seattle.
The Rusty Ruins are nestled inside of Seattle.
In the heart of Seattle.
Maisie's popped
God,
her head
it must
up.
be cold then. It must rain all the time.
Oh.
And the rapids. Oh my God. Like
How
I feel like I'm
fun.
just now just like discovering something crazy.
That's so fun. I love that so much.
Oh, sorry. I just had to.
No,
I
that
had
was
to look.
good. I'm sure that he wrote, he had that in mind when he
And
wrote that. I just
something.
never looked it up. Chapter 10, fight. The next day or a few days later or whatever, Sally.
Sally? Is that their couple name?
Yeah,
Their celebrity
it's their
couple name?
Shay and Tally. I'm going to do that so many more times.
I know, same.
Shay and Tally are watching a group of new uglies and decide to play a trick on them at their orientation.
Not a trick.
Another trick.
Oh.
Drink if we say trick. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
They are actually littlies. Did you listen? Littlies. Littlies.
I called them Littlies in my head, but also
Me
I
too.
called Hazelby Halsey.
Halsey for
So,
the whole thing.
Take mine with a grain of salt.
Davenport.
Yeah. Wait, what did I say?
Davenport and Gareth Sinclair.
It is Davenport. And it is Gareth Sinclair.
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 It's fine. The beauty of reading a book is you can pronounce it however you want.
in your head. Yeah, it's
In your head,
imaginary.
Yeah. Anyways, these are actually littlies on the cusp of becoming ugly. So I guess it's nice that they don't refer to 11-year-olds as ugly. I think that's why he did that.
That's really nice. Yeah.
Tally does not envy these new uglies and is excited to be pretty so soon. They put on ridiculous disguises and a bungee jacket for Shay that they stole from the basement of the art school. All the while, when they're talking about pulling this off, Tally is casually making fun of Shay's ugliness, which is normal things for ugly to do, and especially for Tally. But Shay hates this type of teasing. Shay says she isn't ugly. They've all just been taught to think of themselves as ugly. And then Tally thinks, quote, Shay wasn't exactly a freak, but she was hardly a natural born pretty. There had only been about 10 of those in all of history.
Oh my God. Who were they, do you think?
I don't know.
Marilyn Monroe.
Ooh, probably.
Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
I can't think of anyone else.
Oh,
at the moment, because it's okay. That's like
it's a lot.
That's
They
a lot to
harp
ask
so
for a
much. I
woman.
mean, I don't feel like
there's
there's
probably men. I just can't think of a man.
No,
I can't think of
we
any
don't think
man
of men.
ever. I can't
name one man. I'm just kidding.
name one man. Micah Christensen.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh my God, he's
I'm
the
sure
setter on the
gorgeous.
men's Olympic volleyball.
Oh my God,
team.
they were all super hot.
Oh my gosh, TJ. Okay, I'm
Falcon?
gonna cut that. No, it's not Falcon. It's oh my God. I'm obsessed with him too.
I love them all. No, good job on the bronze. They won the bronze.
Taylor Averill.
I watched all their games.
Matt,
They were so
Matt
fun.
Anderson.
Yes.
I've had a crush on Matt Anderson since I was like 14 to 15 years
Oh my
old.
gosh. how
Whenever his
fun.
first Olympics were. I have a post on my Instagram
From when you were like,
from when I was like, can I marry this man? And I was like, was underage for sure.
I was underage.
And he
You were
was like,
ugly. You were a little ugly.
yeah, I was ugly. And he didn't even look at it probably ever.
You were ugly, not ugly.
2012, and I said hashtag yummy.
There's 6 likes on it. That is so
No,
good.
I had 4 likes on
only
it.
4. Sorry.
Hashtag yummy.
Oh my God, though. How old is he in that?
Old enough. Still, he was hot. Okay.
I don't even know how we got there. Anyways. Oh, natural born pretties.
Natural born pretties. Matt Anderson. Micah Christensen.
So Tally and Shay have a fake fight, and Tally pushes Shay off of a railing into the kids, scaring them. And it was a really good trick, and they were so excited and happy to pull it off. Later, they're swimming in the river, and Tally calls herself ugly. And Shay says, "You're not ugly. I'm serious. Your profile is great." But Tally is not having it. And she's like, "Shay, girlfriend, I hate to break this to you, but we're both super ugly as fuck. Like, there's just no getting around it. It's just,
We're the ugliest of all uglies.
It
but
just
ugly.
is what it is.
Yeah, we're so ugly, dude.
Shay is like, "No, you're not. I like your eyes." Tally says, according to biology, her eyes are too close together. And Shay says, quote, "You don't actually believe there's only one way to look, and everyone's programmed to believe it, do you?" Tally says, "It's not about believing. Just look at those pretties. They're wonderful. We're freaks." And Shay says, "We're normal." They have a fight about David and Barbie dolls. And it's so interesting, all the stuff that Shay knows from like the Rusty era.
Yeah,
Because Tally's like, "What the fuck is a Barbie doll?"
Yeah, what is a Barbie doll?
And they fight about the operation and pretties and uglies and et cetera, et cetera. Tally is on the side of being pretty, being her number one priority. Shay is not, and that's very clear. They also mentioned how sometimes the operation doesn't work on some people, and there are uglies for life.
That makes me sad.
Which is, I would.
Well, that makes me sad in that society when they don't have like any kind of reprieve, because really and truly they're on the outs.
They're shunned from society.
Yeah, like completely.
Yeah,
they can't get jobs. Like, I mean, it's like the ultimate, like, you know,
that's messed up.
Yeah.
Shay says she doesn't want to be pretty, and she's sick of the city. Tally tells her she's just afraid of growing up, and that hits Shay somewhere in the heart, and she quietly leaves, upset and hurt. Chapter 11. Last trick. The operation is only a week away. Tally is excited to turn pretty, but also sad to leave the ugly dorms behind. Bittersweet. She and Shay have not talked since their fight. She thought about pinging her, but she couldn't get the words out, and pinging is like a instant message.
Yeah, they don't write like words down. They don't have like a handwritten note.
No, people don't learn handwriting. No,
they don't have like a cursive class.
No, it's
even now
all digital.
They don't have cursive classes anymore.
It's happening already. Oh my god,
it's happening. Everyone stay calm.
She's thinking about what Shay would look like as a pretty when Shay shows up outside her dorm window. And Tally is so happy to see her. She looks at her ugly face, and for a moment, it looks perfect. So there are these little moments where she's like, she sees that stuff.
Yeah.
She just is so brainwashed. They do the "I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry" routine. Shay is dressed for a days-long journey into the wilderness, complete with food and a water purifier, and tells Tally that she's going to run away past the Rusty ruins to a place called the Smoke, where David lives. In the Smoke, there's no pretties, there's no segregation or boundaries or limits. You never get the operation. "We don't have to fit the city's molds, Tally. We can do whatever we want." Shay tells her that when Tally said that she was afraid to grow up, it got her thinking of how cowardly she's been. And she reveals not all of her old friends are pretty. Some of them are in the Smoke. They ran away. She was supposed to go too, but chickened out. She stayed and probably would have turned pretty, but meeting Tally gave her the courage to go back to the ruins to look for David, who she had been looking for every night since their fight and finally found again 2 days ago. And then she asks Tally to come with her. She outright refuses. The Smoke sounds like a literal, actual nightmare.
To me, too. Honestly.
Yeah. She doesn't want to live like an animal. Shay tells her that you have to take a long-distance hoverboard, and then David would be their guide. Shay can see Tally is not into this idea and blames herself for not telling Tally sooner and giving her time to adjust to the idea and process it. And Tally just feels like shit because she hates that all of this is happening. She's like, "I don't want my friend to go away. I want her to turn pretty with me and party together." Tally says, "Are you sure you want to outrun the operation? After 20, I guess it doesn't work anymore." So
that's crazy.
Yeah. And Shay says, "Oh, I don't care. I'm never coming back." Shay says not everyone believes in the pretty agenda that the city spews, but Tally just can't get behind it. They say goodbye under the dam. Tally promises she won't say a word about this to anyone, and Shay gives her written instructions on how to get to the Smoke. And Tally's like, "Whoa, how did you learn to write? That's so crazy."
Yeah, what the fuck? Did you take cursive classes behind my back?
Yeah, who offers those?
Yeah.
The note is coded, so only Tally could figure out the clues, just in case she changes her mind. And then Shay hoverboards away.
Okay, so this is so funny because Tally is so me in these moments where, like, she's having a conversation with Shay, and Shay's like, you made me realize, you made me want to, and Tally in her head is like, me?
Like, what I do? I literally did nothing.
I've been trying to convince you to be pretty this whole time. Like, what are you talking about? I convinced you? What?
Accidentally. Everything that happens to Tally is like, accidentally.
It's so accidental. Yeah. And it's honestly the most hilarious thing.
It's like Forrest Gump.
Oh yeah, she is like, honestly, it's iconic. It's honestly iconic, and I'm kind of obsessed with it. I just think it's so funny.
It is really funny. She's like, "What do you mean? I just want to be pretty."
You're the one that convinced me to be brave and be bold, and she's like, "What?"
Like, I just want to see Paris, my best friend from New Pretty Town.
All I've wanted this entire time is to be pretty, and that's all I've tried to convince you to do. What are you talking about?
It's so funny because it's both valid.
It is. It's really funny.
At chapter 12, Operation. Oh, it's the day of Tally's operation, and she's sent off completely alone. Not even her parents are there to see her off before the most extreme surgery there ever was in the history of humanity, which is crazy.
Do you have a quote of how Shay explains how it goes down?
No.
Oh, dang.
Is it in these chapters?
Yeah, it's like in the where they fight in the water.
Oh.
Keep going, and I'll try and find it.
Tally is escorted by what they call a middle pretty, which we already talked about. The hospital is just over the river at the edge of New Pretty Town, and it's where all major surgeries take place, even on littlies if need be. Seeing the middle pretty provides comfort because his looks and demeanor are just so disarming, and she wants to ask him to stay with her, but she doesn't. And he comments on how little she packed with her, and she's like, yep, I'm just like so mature. The only important thing she brought with her was Shay's note. And the reality is, when they get to New Pretty Town, they just get anything they want out of their wall. They just ask their wall for whatever. And so ugly stuff is just like not important. Did you find it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
so this is Shay's quote. Or maybe when they do the operation, when they grind and stretch your bones to the right shape, peel off your face and rub all your skin away, and stick in plastic cheekbones so you look like everybody else. Maybe after going through all that, you just aren't very interesting anymore.
Ooh. Plastic cheekbones.
Yeah, and when she quoted this, she said Tally said it made her flinch because she hadn't ever heard the operation be described this way.
Which is crazy. Because they obviously like educate them on the surgery, but I guess not to that level, or just not in those terms.
Yeah, maybe not as like aggressive. Like I'm sure they try and describe it as something that's more
palatable.
Yeah, like you just go to sleep for a little while.
Yeah, you're not gonna be scared. It's gonna be scary. It's not gonna hurt.
No, and then you wake up and then you're pretty. That's it.
There's no recovery.
Yeah, you feel like you have a bad sunburn because of the skin
for a couple weeks. That's literally their only symptom.
That's it.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. That we technologically that we were able to get to a point where after a full body plastic surgery like situation, the only thing you feel is a sunburn for several weeks, like your nose. Your eye,
I mean, they even like grind your bones down to or like lengthen them to make you shorter or taller.
To make you shorter or taller. Yeah. Which is
I love it so much. It's so interesting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Tally waits for an hour all alone in a waiting room area and thinks about Shay and worries about her. Then a man comes out and she immediately thinks that whoever did his operation must have botched it because he's beautiful, yes, but it was a terrible beauty. He looked cold, commanding, and intimidating like a bird of prey. He tells Tally that there was a problem with her operation and she needs to come with him, and she did.
Chapter 13, Special Circumstances. She was directed into a cover car and brought past Uglyville, over the Greenbelt, and by the factories that stuck their heads up. Okay, so apparently their factories are typically underground.
Yeah.
So these are like the only spaces of their factories that have like heads on the surface.
Yeah, what do you picture it as? Like a guard shack or like something bigger?
What's a guard shack?
Just like a fucking one room thing.
I don't know what I picture.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, me either. Just little like
a one-story building.
Yeah.
Not an iceberg.
Do you know what I mean? Like the majority of the iceberg is underwater.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So.
Okay, so have you ever seen oh my god, what's that movie? Give me one second.
Shutter Island?
No. It is
Titanic?
Nope. It's literally none of those movies. No. Give me one moment.
Okay, but I'm gonna keep guessing.
Resident Evil.
Oh.
Have you ever seen Resident Evil?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you know how they worked in the hive?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I picture it.
Okay, yeah.
Like a house. They had like a house on top,
Oh.
and then the hive underneath is like huge.
Oh.
That's how I picture it.
Cool.
Right?
I love that.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
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 Okay, there we go.
Those are pretty factors.
Yeah. Okay, maybe not like it's that's obviously like more of a laboratory than a factory, but like, you know,
Insert factory here.
It's insert factory into the hive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fine.
I just watched this movie for the first time like not that long ago, and
Really?
I'm obsessed with them. Yeah. Okay. They landed with a thump, and she followed the strange man into a building. He was driving her like
the way
a
that he was
fucking
driving?
maniac in his hover car.
Do that? Like he was banging so hard they were parallel to the ground.
He was like,
like weaving in and out of traffic.
I was like, sir, that's a hazard.
Why is he doing that? That was
Sir,
so crazy.
You're gonna crash.
It's okay.
Ugh. The building walls were a yellow-brown color, so it was like gross. And the man stopped at a door and let the door scan his eye. That's how he got in. He's like, see?
Eye scan.
Yeah. And then he told her to go inside. Tally had been taken to special circumstances, a form of secret police.
Yeah, no one even really believes in special circumstances.
But what would even be the comparison into our day and age?
Like the FBI, like a secret faction of the FBI.
A very secret faction of the FBI.
Yeah.
Or
like
the CIA.
The ones that investigate aliens or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Tally notices that the entire building is full of people with the same strange, sharp, hawkish-like beauty.
Yeah, it's different. It's weird.
These pretties feel more terrifying than welcoming. She's like, I'm scared of you.
Yeah.
She is taken to meet a woman named Dr. Cable. Sorry. That is what it says.
Okay.
I don't really know what happened with my brain. You know what? You cut the cameras. She is taken to meet a woman named Dr. Cable. Dr. Cable explains that they've been following runaways like Shay and want to know where they're going.
Yeah.
She says there are outsiders beyond the city who are a threat. Tally realizes immediately that special circumstances must be referring to David and the smoke.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh no.
I know them.
Yeah. She's like, oh wait, that I actually can do something about this.
Yeah.
Dr. Cable presses Tally to reveal their whereabouts, but Tally refuses, sensing Dr. Cable's malice and remembering her promise to Shay. Dr. Cable gives Callie an ultimatum. Tell them where Shay is, or she'll remain ugly for life. For life, bitch.
That's not
For
cool.
life. With no almond-shaped eyes and full lips.
Yeah,
and
wrinkles.
a small nose.
Oh my God.
And she'll be, I don't know.
Sunspots? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And like fat probably.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Fat.
Or too skinny. Like scarily skinny. The way Shay is.
Yeah.
But this is not a reflection of how we actually feel.
No. We're just immersed into Tally's.
Immersed into Tally's thought
mindset,
process.
yeah.
Chapter 14, Ugly for Life. Tally had just got back to the dorms after being told that they would not make her pretty. She went into her dorm and saw that all of the stuff that she had already been thrown out.
Yeah, like her whole dorm room was wiped clean. Yeah.
Well, because they thought she was going to go be made pretty.
Yeah. No one told them
So-
because the special circumstances are so small and elite.
Yeah, and not known by
Yeah.
really anyone. It's like a rumor.
Yeah, like even her parents don't know about it.
Like, yeah,
right?
it's like, well,
can
yeah,
talk about it
her
in a
mom,
second.
yeah. Then all the Uglies were getting back, and she knew that they were going to talk about her and how she hasn't been turned pretty yet.
Yeah.
Her parents, Sol and Ellie, come to visit.
I like their names.
Yeah, sure, they're shitty, but
Yeah.
Tally is surprised to find out that her parents know about special circumstances. Okay, not both of her parents. Sol
Just
knows
Sol.
about them. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And furthermore, that they think that she should comply with their requests. They condemn Shay's influence and tell Tally that she must become a pretty and get on with her life.
Yeah, like do whatever you got to do, girlfriend.
Yeah,
Sorry.
this is about growing up. This is about getting older. Like, ugly tricks don't matter anymore. Like, you made a promise. Who cares? Tally says that she can't help special circumstances because she made a promise to Shay, and her parents told her that she should break that promise.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry.
That's literally that's all ugly stuff. That's in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna
to
be
move on.
a pretty.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Tally thinks her father's reaction is strange, though, and she realizes that he must have no idea what life is like outside the city as she does now.
Oh.
Because, I don't know, maybe not all uglies travel to the Rusty Ruins as like a trick.
Yeah.
And so maybe like her
no,
parents never did. So like they
that
didn't
makes
get the
sense.
realization of like the things outside.
Yeah. And she says they mentioned they go as like on field trips and stuff, but they also limit what they see and what they're told.
100%.
Yeah.
She finds him naive for having faith in people like Dr. Cable. Tally says she wants to come home, but her parents say it's better to stay in the dorms.
Dude, that broke my heart.
They like looked at each other like, oh my God, your room's not ready. Like,
Yeah,
that'd be crazy for you to come here right now.
We don't have a room for you. Our spare room is
She's
the
like,
gym.
I'll sleep on the floor. I don't care. They're like, oh,
No, stay here where you're
you should stay
shunned
here.
socially. And
Yeah, where you're
going to be alone. And
alienated and isolated.
Yeah.
That would be great for you.
Yeah. I think that's really important.
Yeah. And Tally does feel completely alienated.
She does, yeah.
And isolated and sad and depressed.
She cries all the time.
Oh my God, all the time. Shunned by her family and without surgery, she'll now be an outcast in the dorms and in life.
Yeah, where does she go from here? With the people that the operation doesn't work on?
Chapter 15, Paris. For 4 days, Tally remains in the dorms, contemplating her future. The other kids are confused about why she's still there, and they know something has gone wrong with Tally's operation. Tally goes hoverboarding to relieve stress. Tally had hoverboarded through a bunch of tree branches and it scratched up her face.
Oh, yeah.
Upon returning, she receives a visit from Paris.
Oh, another tactic.
Okay, so that's what I thought too.
From special circumstances.
Okay, so it has to be, right?
I think so.
So they haven't confirmed this.
They never do, though, right? I don't feel like they do.
They haven't since I've been reading.
Yeah. I don't think they do, but yeah, it very much feels like he was manipulated. Asked to come and talk to her.
At the very least, he was asked. I mean, maybe her parents were not. I feel like they definitely were.
Oh.
But I feel like everyone that's
yeah.
come to visit her has 100% been manipulated to come to visit her to convince her
to do this.
to do this.
Do the right thing, Tally.
Okay, thank you. I thought that was just me. Paris tells her that rumors are spreading that Tally is in trouble and special circumstances is involved, and the pretties are intrigued. Paris wants her to hurry up and get her operation done so they can both become popular together in New Pretty Town. Then Tally said that she couldn't be turned pretty because she made her friend a promise that she would keep her secret.
For your own... That's just so much on the line.
I don't disagree.
It's so hard.
I remember texting you and I said the way that I would have tattled immediately
So fast.
on
In special circumstances.
the first day.
Like, yep, here's my note. Here's how you get there.
Okay,
Good
so
luck.
here's the thing. I know everything. Here, 1 second. Let me just get the note really
I'm
quick.
so happy you asked. Okay.
Oh my God. Wait, no, I got this. Okay, 1 second. Give me the note. Let me second. Hold on. I would have been nice. I would have complied and I would have turned pretty that day.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Here my and this is before I knew. Again, hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
But that's what I would have done. He reminds her that she made a promise to him before she made a promise to Shay.
So it outdoes her promise.
Yeah, he was firsties.
Yeah.
He called it
take-backsies,
first. No
yeah.
take backsies. Okay. Tally, overwhelmed by Paris's beauty and swayed by his words, decides to betray Shay.
Betray Shay. No. Shay.
Tally sends a message to Dr. Cable and says that she will do whatever she wants.
Oh. You shouldn't have said that. You said, I will do something reasonable to help.
I'll bend over backwards for you, bitch.
No.
Just make me pretty.
Something reasonable.
Yeah.
Please.
Chapter 16, Infiltrator. Tally is brought back to special circumstances. Tally tells Cable that Shay talked about David in the smoke in the town where he lives in the wilderness. Tally hands over Shay's coded instructions on how to find the smoke, but Dr. Cable already has a copy of those instructions. She's like, oh, you mean Mies?
It was like a 3D rendering that she pulled up on a screen.
Sure. I find it much more dramatic if I do it this way. Yeah. She's like, oh, snap. You mean Mies?
Yeah, they do. I don't know how they could have done that. Technology is crazy.
She did snap though. She's like, oh, you mean Mies?
Yeah.
There they are.
That was a nice noise.
Thank you so much. Tally realizes special circumstances has more power than she thought.
Oh,
and
yeah.
more smarter than she originally thought. Because at one point she's like, well, at least I didn't have my note.
Yeah.
I still have my note as
Idiots.
a bargaining chip. Yeah, those fucking dumbass middle-aged pretties. I got my note, bitch.
Oh, that's so interesting.
She did it. They had their note.
Yeah, the whole
She
time.
the whole time. Exactly. Dr. Cable tells Tally that since she is the only one who can decode the note, she'll have to go to the smoke alone.
Okay.
Tally is scared about living in the wilderness alone for several days, which would petrify the shit out of me.
Yeah. Well, are you kidding me? Never been past the Rusty Ruin. I just saw the Rusty Ruins for what it was.
When I tell you that
want me
that
to go
would be
beyond
enough, that would be enough to make me ugly forever.
You want me to go beyond that?
There's bugs.
That's crazy.
And snakes, probably.
Yeah.
And bears. There's bears, probably.
Black bears and maybe brown bears. I don't know.
Definitely brown bears. Definitely brown bears.
Yeah, the brown bears are scary.
Oh my
right?
God.
Those are the grizzlies.
You couldn't catch me in the woods. Anywhere in the world.
For any reason.
You won't even catch me in the wilderness getting a ball in Forest View.
That's right. We don't go beyond the fence.
We don't go beyond the fence.
We're not paid for that. We pay for this experience.
Oh my God.
Going in the woods.
I make the 15-year-old ref do it.
Yeah.
Let
It's
her
her
get
job.
poison ivy.
Yeah, she's getting paid for it.
That's not my job. Dr. Cable loads Tally up with survival gear and a heart-shaped locket that is activated by an eye scan to use when she arrives at the smoke.
Why did they have to make a heart shape? She could have made it like into a star, like a half moon.
She could have made it into anything else. She could have made it into a square. Bitch. She could have made it into anything.
Oval.
Heart-shaped.
Heart-shaped pendant.
Yeah. So romantic. Tally has second thoughts about going, but when Dr. Cable projects an image of Tally's ugly ass, gross ass, nasty ass face on the wall, Tally's like, okay, I'll go.
She's like, you want to be like this forever?
Forever?
It's just going to get worse.
You literally
look your best right now.
You look like a bunioned out foot. You look like a foot with warts and bunions on your face.
Oh, no. That was verbatim quote from Dr. Cable.
I kind of wish that Dr. Cable spoke like that. Like
yeah,
I kind of
she's
do.
just like so like,
that's how you want to be. Because please.
No, she's actually really scary.
Please.
That one might be scarier though.
I can't even look at you, bitch. You're gross. Part 2. The Smoke. Ooh. Chapter
We're going
17.
To the smoke.
Chapter
20.
7. Chapter 17. Leaving.
Oh no.
Oh no. Tally sneaks out one last time of her bedroom. This time on official business. She got a fancy new hoverboard that can go like almost double the speed of her old one. So fucking fast.
Hell yeah.
She's like a fast cheetah.
Hell yeah.
Tally.
Not like a slow cheetah. Like one of those fast ones.
Specifically one of the fast ones. Tally has to make up some time getting to the smoke since she's leaving 4 days after her birthday, which will seem odd to the people at the smoke.
Yeah,
and
like,
Shay.
how did you get away with that?
Yeah.
You have to lie.
If she's like, oh, I left after my, everyone's like, what?
No,
like,
you're that's
lying.
not a thing. Yeah,
You're a traitor for sure. The first line instructs Tally to, quote, take the roller coaster straight past the gap in the tracks. So obviously, that means
impossible to misinterpret.
Impossible to misinterpret the roller coaster gap. Obviously,
and then keep going.
Keep going. The second part says until you find one that's long and flat. Now this one stumped me. I was like, what's long and flat like a roller coaster track? And I'll be honest, I didn't know. I didn't know. Did you know?
I read it when I was 17.
Did you know?
And I'm 35 and I don't remember. I don't think I got any of the clues. And I was like, oh, yeah, every time.
Oh, that's smart.
Okay, yeah.
That's
really good writing.
That's a good one. Yeah, didn't know that one. And Tally is also confused, not understanding what type of roller coaster would be flat. That is until she happens upon a railroad track. And I was like, that's genius.
Oh, yeah.
Genius.
That's good.
Good.
It's good writing right there.
She's like, oh, that's the tracks that Shay's referring to.
That makes sense.
That's genius. She's next instructed to follow the tracks toward the ocean. Tally is encouraged by how easy it is to find her way.
Yeah, like this is going great.
And that she's making good time. She's like, if everything is this easy, I'm going to be there in a day, but I'm making up lost time.
Wilderness got nothing on me.
The wilderness, yeah, fuck those bears. Chapter 18, Spag Bowl.
Drink. Did you know that it's spaghetti and bologna?
Don't say that. I'll throw up. I will throw up. Chapter 18, Spag Bowl. Tally follows the next line in Shay's note that tells her to watch for breaks. Okay? And Tally doesn't understand what that means, so she keeps going until she crosses a...
Cold is the sea and watch for breaks.
Cold is the sea and watch for breaks. Tally doesn't understand what that means, so she keeps going until she crosses a crumbling bridge and almost falls into a deep chasm because she's going too fast and she's like too cocky on her fucking hoverboard.
Yeah.
Trying to make up for lost time, obviously. After barely surviving this, because she basically like...
And she's riding at night, right? She like rides at night and sleeps during the day.
Yes.
So it's dark.
Yeah. So she's like going as fast as she can. She sees it and she's like, oh shit. She tries to do a fast break and she's parallel to the ground trying to fast break. And it's like, right? She gets to the last part of the track. The fucking, there's a light on the front of the hoverboard to tell you if there's
metal,
any metal, any iron, whatever. They're flickering out. There's no
metal.
She's too heavy at this point. She's about to fall. She's about to fall into the deep ass chasm where the ocean meets like a cliff, right? And she's like, I'm gonna drown, but she puts out her jacket like wings of a bird and it lightens her enough to get her back onto the tracks.
Yeah, that the hoverboard catches the metal from the bridge and saves her.
Her jacket and her hoverboard save her life.
Oof, goodness.
Thank God. And she barely survives this. So after surviving this, she's like, damn, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna sit down and eat.
Damn, I worked up my appetite.
That was really hard. She finds dehydrated food packets in her bag marked Spag Bowl. She's like, that looks delicious.
Oh, I'm so hungry.
So am I. Tally reviews the next part of the note, which instructs her to make the worst mistake at the second break. And she's like, what does that mean? I have no idea.
Me either.
I knew exactly what that meant. Okay. I knew
from
this. No, I did. The second that I was like, oh, I didn't know what a break in the tracks meant. And then as soon as I found out what the breaks in the track were, I was like, oh, I got this.
Oh, yeah.
I would have known.
But not making the worst. Oh, making the worst
No,
mistake.
the worst mistake. I would have known.
I'm thinking about something else. You're good. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Moving on.
So she eats, okay? She's like, I need to figure out a way around this first chasm. She decides to hike around. Then she's taking the track really, really slow. Okay, she reaches the second chasm. Right now it's daylight. I think it only takes her an hour to get to the second, not the second chasm, the second break. Mm-hmm. She's like, okay, I'm not sure what to do. I don't know what to do. This is the second break. I know that's part of the clue. And it says to make the worst mistake. But she's like, you know what? I'm too tired for this right now. I'm too tired to try and uncover this, this clue. So she takes out another packet of Spag Bowl and she decides to eat it. And she also lays out her solar-powered hoverboard. She unfolds it like 8 times. Mm-hmm. It's about as thin as a piece of paper to charge in the sunlight. Yeah. Okay. And then she decides that she's going to go to sleep. She takes out her sleeping bag to go lay down and sleep. While preparing to camp, she discovers that all of her food packets are marked Spag Bowl. Spag Bowl, Spag Bowl, Spag, like fucking 40 times. 40 fucking times. Okay, which means that she'll only be eating spaghetti bolognese for the rest of the trip. And spaghetti bolognese is not bologna.
Chapter 19, the worst mistake. Tally is plagued with dreams of falling. When she wakes up from her latest nightmare, night is upon her.
Night is falling.
There we go. Night is also falling.
Yes.
The temperature is dropping and she wants to move before the sun goes all the way down. Her hoverboard is wet, though. She tries to dry it off but can't get all the water off, so she folds it up anyway. And it turns out not to matter because the hoverboard squeezes the water out automatically, which is so fun. And it has like yellow lights that indicate that it's like working on getting the water out.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it is. For the
hoverboard. For the smart hoverboard.
For the hoverboard. So she eats more Spag Bowl while she waits for breakfast, and then the board is ready. But she has no idea how to interpret the next clue. Ugh. Make the worst mistake. What does it mean?
Oh, she's so stupid.
Finally, she decides to edge her board off the side of the bridge over the gorge, hoping to find a vein of iron that will carry the board down to the river.
Duh.
But her board loses purchase and she free falls down toward the river. And then her crash bracelets catch her. How do you picture the crash bracelets?
Like literally hanging you the way that children.
But like, what do they look like?
Like silver plastic bracelets.
Like chunky.
Yeah,
Me too.
And then I picture her being like a rag doll held by a child.
Yeah, the bracelets almost dislocated her shoulders and swung her around like a gymnast on the rings, which is so topical right now.
So topical. Shout out to Simone Biles and Suni Lee and Jordan Childs.
Gymnastics, etc.
And I forget the last one's name.
Shoot. It's okay. We love you.
We love you all.
You won't ever listen to this. But the metal deposits in the river saved her. Her hoverboard came back under her feet and she just kept boarding because the next clue was 4 days later, take the side you despise. So she's going to be on the river for quite a while. 3 days later, she's starting to hate Spag Bowl. She wished she lost them. She'd rather starve or be forced to catch fish. She's also really stinky. So she cleans all of her clothes and sets them out to dry and decides to take a bath in the river. She did find some soap packets in her bag that Dr. Cable was generous enough to pack for her.
So she packed her soap but didn't pack her a towel.
Right.
Because she did not pack her a towel. That's quite rude.
It is really funny to think about her survival pack.
Her survival pack is crazy.
Yeah. She literally almost drowns in the freezing water, which she had to get naked to jump into. And she thinks about how crazy it is that she's naked in nature and how she's felt like the only person in the whole world this entire time, like her whole trip. But she quickly soaps herself up and the current is carrying her away from her stuff on the shore at the same time. And then she hears something that makes her heart freeze. Something was coming, something big. Chapter 20, The Side You Despise.
That's the side you despise.
Yeah. Tally can see that the noise she heard was a noisy flying machine. It was so loud and creating a windstorm that sends her pack, her clothes, her sleeping bag, and Spag Bowl packets flying. She could even see people in there looking down at her camp. She's scared all her stuff is going to be destroyed and she'll be left there naked and afraid. Like, that is actually so terrifying.
Yeah, that would be terrifying.
What are you laughing about?
I just think it's funny thinking of the show Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, I did right
in
that on
context
purpose.
to this.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Yeah.
I never really seen that.
Well, you do that as a joke and then you wonder why I'm laughing.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd catch it.
I catch everything.
But it's also not that funny of a joke. So I was like, what is it?
It's a really funny joke.
But the machine moved on and she found her stuff. Her sleeping bag was shredded to rags and she lost 2 Spag Bowl packs, but otherwise her stuff is fine. She was anxious to leave ASAP. She didn't know who those people were or if they'd come back or like what they wanted or what they were doing. She thinks that must have been some sort of rusty machine. And who'd be crazy enough to replicate that shit? Did you know what it was right away?
No. I pictured like something straight out of the Hunger Games, like picking up Peeta and Katniss in the second, in the Quarter Quell.
Oh yeah.
Like when Katniss was all like fried. Not Peeta and Peeta got left behind, but no, I mean Katniss.
You guys were reading the Hunger Games, early 2025, so look forward to that.
I love that book. Oh my god,
it's one of my favorite series. I want to get a tattoo from it, but
let's get a tattoo together.
Let's do it.
Yeah, District 12.
Big blocky letters across our
forehead.
I was gonna say forearm, but I meant bicep. Anyways, this isn't Hunger Games. This is
pretties. This is pretties. This is Uglies.
We're ugly. Tally continues to ride, thinking about the next clue, but now she knows she's not alone out here. She's riding along when she comes to a fork in the river. Is this where she has to interpret the next clue? But what does it mean? Which side does she despise? She doesn't despise rivers.
And also, she's there like too early. She's there like
it's only been 3 days, and Shay said 4 days later.
Right.
What would Shay mean? What would Shay mean about that? She thinks she should just continue on the main river. Maybe the clue isn't for this part. But then she thinks about when they were doing their pretty morphos. Tally told Shay she always starts with doubling her left side because she despises her right. Shay, you beautiful, smart, generous babe. Totally. That's what she's thinking. She's like, Shay, you're so smart.
Shay, you are a genius.
Oh, we just
in human form.
And then Tally goes right into the smaller river. She knew she chose correctly by the time the sun came up because the fields around her were covered in brilliant white flowers, thick as grass. And she remembers the next clue. Look in the flowers for firebug eyes, which is a crazy ass clue.
That's a crazy clue.
Like, why would you
even in hindsight, that's a fucking insane
even in hindsight,
clue.
it was crazy.
It's a crazy clue.
She gets off her board to inspect the flowers, but can't find anything that could resemble firebug eyes. She does see some hummingbirds feeding on them, though. So she kept moving slowly so as not to miss anything. She starts to see patches where there were no flowers, but still she doesn't have a clue, like what the clue means. The river she was following was getting smaller and smaller, and she'd have to walk soon, which she does not want to do. She was really tired and decided to make camp. She hid all of her stuff in the flowers, hoping not to be found by another flying Rusty machine and those scary unknown people. And after a mildly revolting meal of spag bowl, Tally curled up in the tall flowers and fell asleep. And when she woke up, the world was on fire.
I was so confused, like so unbelievably confused. I was so unbelievable. I thought there was aliens involved at one point. And I was
It's so funny.
confused.
It's so funny. Chapter 21, Firestorm. A huge, terrifying fire and giant plumes of smoke are all around her, burning the flowers. She orients herself and finds her hoverboard. She had to get to the river. She runs across an already burnt patch of flowers and her footsteps ignite with flame. I can just picture it. It's so good.
Yeah.
It takes her a minute to find her hoverboard and even the river, but she makes it. Her grippy shoes are fucked, though.
Yeah.
But she goes slow and it's fine. Suddenly, the smoke clears and she sees another flying Rusty machine. She's like, what the fuck are they doing? They're spreading that fire. Don't they understand that? But then the machine spews fire from itself. And she's like, what? They're doing it on purpose. Like, what are they doing? She tries to hoverboard away, but the machine flies right over her and she's flung from her board into the river and her board spins away like a leaf in the wind. She almost sinks again, but she gets to the surface to find her hoverboard had come back to her once again. The Rusty machine had landed and the people in it are headed toward her. She struggles to hoverboard away, but someone with a mask comes up from the water and grabs her board, and she stomped on their hand and tumbled into the water again. I don't understand how one of them got into the water.
I don't really understand either.
Maybe
I didn't realize. I
out into
didn't
the water to
understand
get her. I
how
don't
deep
know.
the water was because I was like, because she kept talking about how it was getting smaller and smaller. So I kind of pictured at this point like knee deep.
Yeah.
So I was like, how is she tumbling in the water?
Not that
and I was like,
small.
okay, obviously it's deeper than this.
Yeah.
So she's just being dramatic.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
poor
she does
Tally.
that.
She's a little dramatic.
As we'll find out.
Dramatic.
Then she was hauled out over someone's shoulder and she could see their bug eye masks. This is it. Chapter 22, Bug Eyes. She is choking on smoke and can hear the people saying, where did she come from? Give her some oxygen. One of them pulled off his mask and it was a new pretty.
Oh my gosh.
It was a young pretty.
Oh my gosh.
Every bit as gorgeous as Paris was. Meanwhile, the fire is raging. Tally asks about her board after getting some oxygen, and another young new pretty, a woman, says, relax, we got it. Are these the firebug-eyed people from the clue? They all get in the machine, and one of them asks the pilot to make the usual detour and, burn some flowers on the way.
Yeah.
This girl, she's fine. We're good. Tally asks what they're doing. One of them said, quote, a little burning to save the world, kid. But hey, we're real sorry about your getting in the way.
Sorry you
were
almost
there.
died. Yeah.
That's my bad.
Well, this should have been a sign for Tally that things are not always what they seem, because for her, like, as not knowing anything about the world, this would have been considered probably horrendous, burning wildlife.
Yeah, and she was like, what is going on?
But there's always
why are
a
you doing-
reason.
These flowers are so beautiful. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
On the flight, we learned that these pretties call themselves rangers. They're from a city that Tally had never heard of, which is interesting in and of itself. But they spend most of their time out in the wild because the helicopters, which we learned, the Rusty machines are helicopters, are based in the mountains, the pieces of which are 200 years old, and they copy the parts when needed, which is like fun.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're perfect for what they need. Then they tell her that they burn the flowers on purpose because someone in the Rusty era manipulated its genes and turned it basically into the most invasive of species. It's actually a white tiger orchid, one of the most beautiful and rare plants from the Rusty era, I guess. The goal was to make the plant easier to propagate because it was so coveted, but instead it's now a weed that chokes out and takes over every other species of plant and tree, which they call a monoculture, which is so interesting. Hummingbirds pollinate these flowers, but hummingbirds nest in trees, which the orchids don't let grow. So the orchids eventually die out, leaving a wasteland behind. And they call it a biological zero, which is not good. Fire is the only thing they found to work on the flowers. And so a helicopter is perfect for spreading fires. They've been doing this for 300 years, but they'll never succeed in wiping the flowers out. They can only hope to contain them. Quote, the flowers were so beautiful, so delicate and unthreatening, but they choked everything around them. And that's where our drink is based on, the White Orchid.
And tiger orchids, they said that in the book that in the Rusties era that it went for like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I think they said a bulb would cost like as much as a house.
Yeah, which is crazy because I'm looking right now at a tiger orchid right now, and it's a white tiger orchid.
Right.
And it's like $59.
Yeah, I tried to Google that too, and I didn't really find anything that was like
significant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it was different back then, but I don't know.
Yeah.
In 2000, I don't know. I think this book was written in like 2005 or something. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, maybe it was different back then. But as of now, I mean, there's like bunches of them that will go for like more money depending on who you're ordering from. Like obviously, like the designer brands will sell them for more money based off probably like
their brand.
The brand and also the vase that they come in. But just a plain like white tiger orchid is just, it looks like it's about like $60.
That's still a lot for a single flower.
For a single flower, that's crazy. But yeah, it's not as much as that. If I could buy a house for $60,
no,
I'd have a lot of houses.
Cool. A lot of houses.
I have quite a few
but
houses.
It is really interesting that someone, I mean, the reason is because someone manipulated its genes and now it's just like
invasive. Yeah. I like the idea of it because it is fair. Like that's something that Rusties would have done.
Yeah, for sure. People from now,
humanity,
like this time period, yeah. And the rangers are even very careful not to have any of these flowers on their shoes so they don't spread them more. But they ask if she's headed to the smoke and tell her that they help the Smokies out, and in turn, the Smokies help them out. So they have this symbiotic relationship. They drop her off at a pre-designated spot and say, good luck. If you ever want to volunteer with us, you can. Which is so fun.
They offered her a position and she's ugly still. That's crazy.
Yeah. And Tally's like, what is a volunteer?
Yeah. What?
And she literally didn't.
Do you get paid?
Yeah, she didn't know what a volunteer was because in her city, your job is just assigned to you. You don't have choices.
Oh my God. What if you had like janitorial duty and you were just assigned?
You were a pretty.
Janitorial duty is a pretty.
I would kill myself.
I would too.
Just kidding. I would go to school. I would go to university and learn.
I
would run away to the smoke. I don't know.
Hindsight. Just saying.
Alone again, she looks around and sees a hill that had been cleared of flowers that resembles a bald head. And she's like, oh my gosh, I recognize that in the next clue. And she hikes to it in a few hours. The rangers had given her new shoes. Thank goodness.
Yeah, because her shoes were trash.
Yeah, they were all burnt. And the only thing she'd lost to the river was Shay's note, and everything else was good, including the heart-shaped pendant. She hoped for a minute the pendant wouldn't work, and then she's like, wait, why? I don't want to be stuck in the wild. I want to be pretty. And her only way home was to betray Shay. I want to read the entirety of the whole note really quick because it doesn't rhyme.
I'll be honest with you. As soon as they said that you're going to have to go to the smoke.
Yeah.
I knew that my opinion was going to change. I knew because that is so much harder. It's easy to rat out people when you have no firsthand experience of what they're doing.
Exactly.
And to be honest,
and she says that a lot.
If I didn't have a firsthand experience, I would have ratted them out immediately.
It's
immediately.
Yeah.
1 second, I would have ratted them out. But going and seeing everything happen.
And meeting everybody.
And getting to know everyone. Mm-hmm. I mean, doing this, going through this whole thing to get to the smoke. And that's where I was like, ugh.
Ooh, not so easy anymore.
Not so easy anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole note is this. Take the coaster straight past the gap until you find one that's long and flat. Cold as the sea and watch for breaks. At the second, make the worst mistake. 4 days later, take the side you despise and look in the flowers for firebug eyes. Once they're found, enjoy the flight, then wait on the bald head until it's light. That's pretty good. She even rhymed it.
She did a good job, even though she's stupid.
So rude. All right, where was
Even though
I?
she's 16 years old. Sorry. She's a stupid 16
Yeah,
year
a lot of them are. So no offense, but you know your brain hasn't fully developed. That's all I'm saying.
My younger sister would never.
Does she
This
listen?
week.
Does she listen?
Just kidding. Did
Right
you hear
in.
me? I said this week.
Oh, so yeah. See, there you go.
No, I'm joking. I have no idea.
Yeah, this is impossible to
This is an impossible thing.
scenario.
I was so, and the thing is I was so stupid when I was like 16 to 22.
Right?
So it's like,
In hindsight, you know that now.
in hindsight, 2020. But
Yeah.
I also think that like you grow up in circumstances, and like Shay kind of did have exposure to like more education in a sense of like the real world. So she should be smarter.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
that is really interesting how she. We'll get into it. I think probably in this chapter, in these next few, before we're done.
And I think that's why my expectations are higher for her. Because
that
when
makes
we
sense.
first see her, she's so much more
She's just like
intelligent and
so
sure of
much about the
herself.
world. Yeah,
And like very confident. And then all of us,
that is interesting. Okay, chapter 23 is called Lies. The Smokies, dressed in white to blend in with the flowers, came to get her a few hours after dawn. Tally recognized Shay's pigtails and runs to greet her friend, who she genuinely missed her. She was really excited to see her. Shay is so excited to see Tally. Everyone had told her that Tally wasn't coming, that she had missed her window. And Tally starts lying right here. I think she started lying when it came to the people in the helicopters, but she blames Shay's obscure note for her lateness, and Shay is genuinely hurt, and her face falls, and she's like, "Oh, I thought you'd understand it. Like, I'm really sorry." And then Tally's like, "I'm just kidding. I'm just really dumb. The note was fine."
It's not your fault. It's me.
Yeah,
it's not you.
It's
Me.
like, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh.
I'm the one with the low IQ.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. It's
Sorry
great.
about you. It's me.
Someone says Tally is carrying a bug, and Tally's like, "Oh shit, it's happening already. Like, I'm found out already." But they grab her hoverboard and find a tracker that long-range boards usually have, because the specials want to find the smoke, and it's pretty standard. And don't worry, Shay's board had one too. They scan her body with their bug detector, and Tally holds her breath when it goes over the pendant, but they tell her that she's clean. And I think Tally like, of course it hasn't been activated yet. Of course they wouldn't find it.
Right.
Then Shay steps up to the boy that scanned her, took his hand, and said, "Tally, this is David." Oh, we get to meet David. David was ugly, Tally thought, but he was an ugly, but it suited him.
Yeah.
It suited him.
And he was not 30 to 40 years old.
No, he was like, what is he, 19?
18,
19. He had an air of confidence she had never known an ugly to possess. She guessed he was a few years older than her, but she'd never seen anyone age as an ugly. So she really had a hard time gauging their ages.
No, he's 18.
Yeah, I think he's 18. Yeah, but she didn't really know because she'd never seen an ugly 18-year-old.
Right.
On their way to the smoke, a Smoky named Croy tried to take Tally's spag bowl, which is like prime trading material in the smoke. Shame on you, Croy. You have to trade for that.
Cry.
As they're walking and scolding Croy for his behavior, Tally notices David's hand on Shay's shoulder, and she thinks maybe it wasn't just the promise of freedom that brought Shay here.
Ugh.
I think that might be, there's some weight to that. Tally asks how they keep the orchids from spreading to the smoke, and David lights up like the orchids are his favorite subject. Basically, the vegetation around the smoke is so old and so thick the orchids can't move in on it, which is good. Shay says they'll be on their board soon, and thank goodness, because Tally's feet are already chafing in these new shoes. And then she's like, speaking of new shoes, how the fuck would she have gotten new shoes in the smoke? Like, do they make them?
Yeah.
And then she looks at the feet in front of her, which were David's, and he was wearing homemade shoes, and her mind is spinning. She's like, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She's going to activate the pendant as soon as she gets there, and she'll be home within a day, maybe hours, and she'll be pretty by tomorrow.
And she'll be with Paris and all of her friends and her parents, who literally she calls Soul and Ellie.
Yeah, she doesn't say mom or dad. It is really interesting.
Crazy
That
thing.
part,
Yeah.
They're getting closer to the river they're going to board on, and David checks her one more time for bugs, finds nothing, and tells Tally, "Congrats, you're one of us now, girlfriend." Future girlfriend. Tally starts over-explaining to Shay her decision to go on the run and when she left and how, and just can't stop spewing out the lies, which she doesn't have to be so detailed. She's just like, when you're lying, you just overly explain.
No, but I do. But do you know what though? Because this is like a thing where you understand all of Shay's actions. I actually understand Tally's actions because she's seeing everyone interested in her story, and she's like, okay, let me give them a story.
Oh, I understand that too. She loves the attention she gets from her story,
which is I definitely think like a 16-year-old thing. Like
yeah, for sure. When you're
like
with a bunch of like-minded people, They get to the river, and Shay is so excited to show Tally these rapids and is laughing and having a good time. Then finally, they reach the top of a small valley where the smoke is. Chapter 24, The Model. The way the smoke smells reminds Tally of camping and outdoor parties. There are 20 or so one-story buildings, a few solar panels here and there, fires dotting the valley, and random plots of gardens. Yay!
Yay!
We love gardens. There's gardens in every book. Yay!
Yeah.
You have like one-sided beef with gardens.
I don't have a one-sided beef with gardens.
Yes, you do.
Here's my thing. Okay, listen. I'm not gonna cheer for a garden. Okay,
You're gonna cheer for a garden.
I'm gonna cheer for a garden that I don't have to touch.
Caretaker.
Yes.
If
I don't have to touch it, I'm cheering for it.
Yeah.
If I have to touch it, I am actively rooting against it. Actively rooting against it until I'm done. I can't.
That's so funny.
But
I'll never not bring it up.
Outdoors stuff. Ugh. Ugh. How do you do it? I don't know. Ugh.
It's fun.
One time I can't.
What? What's your story?
I just think about like I get anxiety when I have to go into any greenery. I'm like, there's going to be a snake. There's going to be a spider.
Oh my gosh.
My husband makes me go and pick blueberries in the wild. Do you understand how, like, that's torture for me?
You're going to say dangerous. I'm like,
that's a torture method for me.
Yeah, but blueberries.
Might as well waterboard me.
My aunt and uncle have a bunch of blueberry bushes, and it's so fun. I go over to their house and just eat them. Anyways, some of them have bugs in them. Anyways, Tally is shocked to learn that the Smokies cut down trees.
She's dramatic, honestly.
And Shay tries to calm Tally down by reassuring her that they only cut the trees in the valley, and they also plant trees on the other side of the mountain to keep the orchids out. And then Tally's like, okay. She's very doubtful. She sees Uglies using hoverboards and asks if there's a grid here. And Shay's like, kind of. They've had to bury parts of a railroad around the smoke to make paths. And it's a project that Shay herself has been working on. And then Shay says, come on, you have to meet the boss.
The boss.
The boss wasn't really in charge. She just acted like it. The boss is in their library, which only has books.
I love that.
No air screen, no private work screens.
I'm obsessed. That's where I'd be 24/7.
Yeah.
Give me an internship at the boss's library.
Okay.
Please, immediately. Indoors, no bugs, books.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm
I
there.
thought you were joking about it. It makes sense.
No, I'm being dead serious.
Tally had seen the boss from a distance on the way in. He was an old Ugly, milky eyes, rattling voice, and Shay is like, oh my God, I know, crazy, right? He's like 40.
Okay, when they said 40, my jaw was on the ground.
I think maybe they just have like a miss. I think he's probably more like 60.
It has to be.
Or
And
75.
she doesn't know.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, right?
That is a crazy.
Yeah, right?
Oh my God, it's 40.
They're
I was
so
like,
dumb. Okay.
oh my God, yeah.
right.
That has to be.
Tally cannot get over his face, and Shay shows her an old magazine full of, quote, famous people from Rusty age, and Tally is shocked to see so many wildly different faces and different size and shaped bodies, and she calls them freaks. And she's like, they're not freaks. They were actually sports stars, artists, actors. The really ugly ones were politicians, and someone told me the fatties were mostly comedians.
Okay, can I read our text?
Yeah.
Where did I say? So, basically we were talking about this, okay? And at this point, we are talking about the magazines. I said, I know that it's about social norms and how big they are and how much influence they have on people, especially youths. But if she keeps talking about how gross and wrinkly and old people are, I'm going to flip. It's not even just like, oh, they're slightly ugly. She's like, OMG, these people in the magazines are literally so gross looking. I could literally throw up. How could anyone stand to open their eyes? That's what I said. And Corey says, I know. And I said, it's like, girl, chill the fuck out. You are also ugly, you stupid hoe. She called professional models of our time ugly and grotesquely fat. And Corey goes, no. She called the model just too skinny. She had a pretty face, just way too skinny. She called the politicians, the actors, and the sports stars, the artists, and the comedians fat and ugly. LOL. And I said, okay. So the one model was gag-worthy skinny, and the others were impossible to even look at, fat, muscular, and ugly as the ugliest ugly that ever uglied. And Corey said, yes.
Yes. We're on the same page. That's what
Tally's fair
mindset.
enough.
Yeah, that's what Tally's thinking.
I was literally about to like throw hands with Tally because I was like, stop.
Yeah.
You're making me feel
insecure.
And I'm not even in the magazines.
Yeah. Not even in the magazines.
Not even in the magazines.
Well, Shay says it's scary at first looking at all this stuff, but you get used to it. Then she showed her a picture of a model. Tally thought she looked like she was starving, but she was smiling like she was proud of her body, like she had just had the operation and didn't realize it had sucked out way too much fat. Shay describes a model as kind of a professional pretty, which I thought was really funny. Get paid for it. Then Tally says, oh my God, she has that disease, the one that made young girls stop eating because they were ashamed of being fat. Then they say it was one of the reasons they came up with the operation. No one got that disease anymore. Tally notices how skinny Shay is. Not disease skinny, but like she just doesn't eat enough skinny.
Yeah.
Then Tally thinks the Smokies are trying to be like the Rusties. Like, why? Shay turns around and Tally takes the heart pendant out to activate it because she's like, why wait? Like, now's the time. Let's go. Why are we starving ourselves? Like, why are we going to be like the Rusties? That's crazy. But Shay catches her before she can and asks who she got that pendant from. And basically Shay just thinks Tally had a late summer fling before leaving. And she thinks someone's going to come for her. And she's like kind of skirting around answering. And Tally decides to warn Shay before she activates the pendant that, about everything that she's about to do. But they're interrupted by the boss, who is upset that they're touching centuries-old magazines with their dirty-ass hands.
With no gloves.
Yeah, like, what are you doing? Your bacteria are going to erode these pages. You're crazy.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Fucking uglies.
That's called destruction of property.
Yeah.
Destruction of public.
Defacing public.
Defacing.
Private property.
Private property.
Then the boss asks Tally if she's here for her work assignment. And Tally's like, work? What do you mean? Work?
And that's a vibe.
Yeah,
Because same.
for sure.
That's
like,
me
it's
every
hard
day.
labor. It's not like sorting books in the library. We'll get into it. 25.
It's not like walking cute dogs every day.
No, yeah.
It's
was just like
hard labor.
I mean, look at that. This is what we get to do every day.
I know. I know.
Chapter 25. Work. The Smokies eat lunch together like uglies at the dorms. Tally is sick at seeing the cut down trees. She cannot get past this. There are a few new Smokies from another city, but 3 that she meets that were Shay's old friends, and they are Croy, Ride, and Asterix, and I love all of their names.
I do too.
It shocks Tally hourly how the Smokies carry the authority of a middle pretty, but without high cheekbones, chiseled jaws, and expensive clean clothing. They're like, how are they doing this?
I know.
As everyone is eating, Shay's friends are asking Tally from news from the cities, sports, TV shows, politics. They want to know, like, what's the tea? They are not hiding their homesickness, which is really interesting. They're like, have you heard of Bobby he's like 18? How's he doing?
Yeah, how's he doing in soccer?
Yeah. What's he up to? I miss him.
Yeah, what's the soccer score? And it's crazy because it's like, I feel so bad because there's no way that these people, like some of them at least,
don't regret it. They want to go
I don't
back.
want to say regret it, but just like don't miss the technological advancements of their city, but also don't love like the, standards of being pretty versus ugly.
Exactly. There's like no middle ground for them.
It's like, do you understand how horrible that decision would be? You would literally have to either live in the woods where you had to like do hard labor every single day and eat like randmass rabbit, or live in a city with technological advancements.
Food comes out of the
shower.
wall. Yeah.
Like, fuck off.
Calculate the calories that you need.
Honestly, give me the ignorant pretties at this point because I could not live in
Same.
I couldn't live in the woods.
Same. Okay. They also ask about her trip there to the smoke, and she said she left right at midnight on her birthday, and it took 9.5 days to get there, etc., etc. Tally is enjoying the attention she's getting from telling her crazy story about almost getting burned and ruining her shoes, etc., and she's glad she didn't activate her pendant yet. Tally's fake story is that she was in the flowers for 4 days before the Rangers found her. And David was like, wow, that must have been so creepy. And Tally's like, I thought the flowers were pretty. I didn't know that they were a super weed. And then
super weed.
Is that funny?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And then David kind of scolds Shay by saying, didn't you tell her anything in your note? And Shay's like, I did my best without adding super incriminating details. Like, I'm sorry.
Okay, listen, this is the one time I'll defend Shay, but her note was legit.
It was good.
To Tally.
I mean, obviously, Dr. Cable couldn't interpret it. Also, why can't Dr. Cable just follow any ugly?
Any ugly.
At any time. You have the technology.
Dr. Cable is a stupid bitch. And honestly, fuck her. But and this is literally the only time I'll ever defend Shay, like ever in my life.
Oh.
Well, it's thus far. But Shay's note was extremely legit.
It was good.
It served its purpose for Tally, and Dr. Cable could not interpret it, nor could any other person in special circumstances. So honestly,
good job, Shay.
David in this moment can get fucked.
Yeah.
Can get fucked right off. Okay? Leave my girl Shay for 1 second alone until I hate her in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay?
And then David says, sounds like your code almost got her killed. And Shay's face falls again. And then Tally puts her arm around Shay and says, I've been out of the city before. Like, it's fine. I was fine. The note was fine.
She
trying
was
to defend
fine.
her friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone asks her why she stole only spag bowl. And she's like, I didn't even notice. 3 spag bowls a day for 9 days. Could hardly stomach it after day 2, but you eat what you have when you're hungry. Yeah. And it's important later in part 2.
Yeah.
Then she sees how much food Shay ate while they're eating here and is less concerned that she would get the non-eating disease, which is
AKA
anorexia.
I
was like, bulimia is different.
No, it's anorexia.
Yeah,
I just completely forgot what the word was.
Then David tells Tally he's glad that she made it and softly touches the scratches on her face and says, looks like you had more adventures than you're telling us. He likes her right away.
Okay, so I did not catch on to this. I really didn't. I honestly thought this was all friendly.
Oh.
I genuinely did.
Well, so did Tally. So it's written like it's supposed to be like her perspective. So that makes sense. But that's crazy that he did that. But Shay smiled and hugged David and said, I knew you'd think Tally was awesome. Maybe a little too awesome, Shay, is what I wrote. A bell signaling back to work rings, and they tell Tally she's coming with them. Their work is the railroad tracks. They're digging them up outside the smoke so they can use them, and not just for hoverboarding. I'm not really sure how. It doesn't matter. Their current railroad harvesting spot is a ways away, and Tally comments how everything is so big out here. And Shay says, quote, you can never tell how small the city is from inside, how small they have to make everyone to keep them trapped there. Tally nodded, but pictured all the people in her city cutting down trees and killing animals for food. And she's like, well, I don't know if that's better. But the sights were still beautiful. Shay shows Tally how to use a power jack to pull up the railroad ties from the dense thicket of vines and roots. And Tally's like, all right, this is fun. Let's get into it. And that's the end of the chapter. It's not in a very exciting way to end this first half of
but it gets way more exciting.
The next chapter is a huge,
so exciting.
A lot of reveals.
Yeah.
And I probably should have included that, but I just didn't know. I just
this is fine.
Okay. This is fine.
Yeah. We've had a lot going on.
Yeah.
We'll have a lot going on in the next one.
A lot of build up. Yeah.
Trust us. It gets even better.
Oh my God.
I think I was hooked already at this point. Like, I think this is so interesting and I think this is so intriguing.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, honest to God, like, I didn't even need any kind of romance in this
Yeah.
to make it even more intriguing.
There is romance.
And there will be some romance in it, but like I didn't need it. Like, and I'm not saying it's
Isn't
a
that
bad
fun?
thing. Like I think it's good, like whatever. But I definitely didn't need it. And I was like, this is so intriguing. I think this is so interesting.
Yes.
Like I'm hooked for sure. My opinions on Shay go back and forth. At times I lean more towards hating her guts. Not hating her guts.
I never hate
just
Shay.
wanting
I will
to
never hate
smack the shit out of her. But like that's me personally. We'll talk about it in the next
half
part.
and the next book and next 2 books because their relationship is tenuous.
Is it?
At best.
Is it?
A whole time.
Anyways.
Okay. Anyways, when I first read this book, I was like, Tally's getting the operation. Let's go to New Pretty Town. I want to see what it's about. Let's go. And then she goes to the smoke. I'm like, dang it, I don't go to the smoke. I'm so excited.
I was ready to go to New Pretty
Yeah.
Town. I was over. I didn't want to go to the smoke. I did not care to go to the smoke. Now I can't get out of the smoke. I don't want to leave the smoke.
Yeah, it's
Fuck
good now.
New Pretty Town.
Yeah, I love that. I love that in a story. What's your quote of the week?
My quote of the week is, I have 2 quotes.
Oh, perfect.
Well, one's short. So
That's
it's
okay.
the early summer sky was the color of cat vomit.
That's the first sentence in the book.
It's so funny.
I love
think
that
it's hilarious.
so much.
Or, we're not freaks, Tally. We're normal. We may not be gorgeous, but at least we're not hyped up Barbie dolls.
That's so relevant and topical.
I agree.
Oh my God. I don't even know how to like get into that discussion, but
Okay, what's yours?
my quote of the week is, the flowers were so beautiful, so delicate and unthreatening, but they choked everything around them. And I feel like that's a metaphor for the pretties, for New Pretty Town.
Yeah, I agree.
Who would you be?
I would be Croy.
Okay.
Croy. I'd be Croy.
Okay.
100%.
Like suspicious.
Suspicious and correct.
Correct in his suspicions.
Correct and
smart.
suspicious and smart and amazing.
Intuitive.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Intuitive.
I do love Croy. You know who I picked? Guess.
Shay.
The special that was driving so chaotically through the city, giving Telly motion sickness.
No way. No way am I a special.
For no reason. Oh.
No way am I a special.
But a special, but like he's not relevant. He's just like,
no, not a relevant special.
they hired me to be a special and I ended up not doing that great of a job.
Yeah.
Who would you want to be?
I would want to be Paris.
Me too. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Paris. He's
fuck
in
this.
Pretty Town.
And
He has
even
nothing to
even
worry
in
about.
hindsight, Paris.
He has nothing to worry about. He's living his best life. He's partying. He has friends.
Paris.
He has
Paris.
literally no responsibilities. Nothing
Give
horrible
me
happening.
nothing but a pretty face and no
Yes.
responsibilities. And I don't give a shit what the consequences are. Paris. Like, fuck everything else.
That's happening in the smoke.
Oh my God. Paris.
Who's your favorite
day
character so far? That was a
This
tough
is
one.
so hard
Yeah.
because I don't like Paris.
No, yeah, we can't pick Paris. He's
I don't like
sucks.
love Tally. She annoys me. Shay annoys me. Like David.
We don't know enough about David.
We don't know enough about David.
He could still be your favorite
Probably
character.
Croy
Okay.
because he's right and smart
But we don't know that yet.
and suspicious.
Yeah.
Well, we know that Croy.
Yeah, he knows
we know
right,
that
but
Croy is right.
That everyone else
She
doesn't
is
know.
a
Yeah.
Troy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I meant. I picked Tally. Just because she's the main character. We're in
Main
her head.
character.
I love how much she admires the nature, and she's starting to understand the importance of the smoke beyond Shay's importance so early
Yeah.
on, even this early on.
I'll never blame Tally for having to go on this quest. Like, I genuinely will never blame Tally for having, like,
No,
not
yeah.
for
It's not her
one
fault. You're right.
second
You're right.
of this book.
What was her fault? She became friends with Shay. That's the worst thing she's done.
That's the worst
She was
thing
her
that she
friend.
did. She was literally pressed hard up against a wall with impossible decisions from the
Yeah.
left to the right, basically being like, you can either be dead and outcast or rat out your best friend or your friend that you've had for 2 months, 3
months,
months.
yeah.
Like, come on, I'm ratting out my friend I had for 3 months.
Yeah,
Fuck
I'm gonna
off.
be pretty. I'm gonna go cross the
Seriously.
river.
Like,
Who's your least favorite character?
probably Dr. Cable.
Dr. Keeble's scary.
She's an easy one, you know.
Yeah, I picked. I went a different route and went Sol and Ellie.
Oh,
because they were encouraging Tally to go after Shay. Like, that's so crazy. She's like, yeah, just follow the Uglies.
But I don't.
It's crazy. Yeah, I understand. What?
But we are reading this and we're saying Tally, rat Shay out. That's what her parents are doing.
Yeah, but also the journey that she goes on. Like, I wouldn't be like, yeah, go fall down.
But they
gorge.
don't. But they don't know that.
I know, but
Sol and
that's
Ellie
so
don't know
crazy.
that. Yeah, they
Like,
think that all
obviously
they have to do is all. Tally has to do is talk to special circumstances. That's all they think.
Yeah, true.
They don't know she has to go on this whole ass adventure.
Just tell her what you know.
Exactly.
It's still so crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways,
they're not great parents. Like, let's be so clear.
It was so crazy.
They're terrible parents.
So next week we're going to be finishing up this book, and it takes some crazy twists and turns. There's betrayal, death, and someone turns pretty.
Death? There's death?
There's death, you guys.
Death?
Yes. It gets
and someone
serious.
Turns pretty?
And someone turns pretty.
Oh my God. So this is like such a contrast from the Bridgerton books where things are like, no.
Exactly. Yeah. Julie Quinn was like, happy
dies.
ending. Everything's happy. Go, go, go. This gets crazy. No spoilers.
I'm gonna Google it.
No, just read it. But that's where we're at for today. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you guys
Kylie's
so much.
stressed.
If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please email litlibationspodcast@gmail.com. I'm going to go Google the ending.
Don't Google the ending. Don't do it. You only have so many chapters left to read.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm strong.
No, it's good. It's good. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I can't.
Oh,
Who dies?
You have to keep reading. Send in your fan art. Oh my God, the fan art from this would be so amazing. Oh my God, Tally walking over the burnt flowers and igniting her shoes. Fanfic. Send it all in from any series that we've read. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, guys, we'll see you next week to alleviate this anxiety. I'm so sorry.
So much anxiety. I'm more anxious than I was in ACOTAR.
No.
Why was it so?
I don't know, because I feel like I was very anxious in ACOTAR.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
I was like,
no one died in ACOTAR.
Literally
no one died.
Like,
everyone lived.
Yeah, so Pretties is more extreme than ACOTAR and Bridgerton. I can't say that for Verity or Cersei, death toll wise, but
well, okay, but you never got connected to anyone.
Yeah,
in Cersei, and you didn't like anyone in Verity, so it was like, okay, if someone died, you were like, fuck yeah,
like, whatever. Yeah,
this is crazy. Like, is it going to be someone I care about? I like. If it's Croy, I'll kill myself.
It's not Croy. I will say it is not Croy.
Okay, that's good.
We will see Croy in book 2. All right.
Okay. What about book 3?
Stop. All right, let's end it. Too many spoilers. Okay.
I love you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.